Me.
All
So
right.
it's my turn, and I'm really, it's such an honor for me to be up here to just share how God's been using me and working through me for the past year. So before I go into the verse and whatnot, I want to show you a couple of visuals first. Anyone know who that is?
Oh, yes.
Billy
Billy
Graham.
Graham. When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. And when character is lost, all is lost. Martin Luther King. I have a dream, right? His famous I have a dream speech. I have a dream that my 4 children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by their character. Mother Teresa.
You both, Larry.
Kind words are short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless. John Piper, right? God is most glorified in me when I am most satisfied in him. This is the motor that drives my ministry as a pastor. It affects everything that I do. Elizabeth Elliot. Either we are adrift in chaos, or we are individuals created, loved, upheld, and placed purposefully exactly where we are. Can you believe that? Can you trust God for that? So, why do I start off with all these visuals of all these individuals who had such influence? Because there was a point in time where I felt as though my life wasn't as influential as all of these Christian brothers and sisters you see before you. But as time progressed and God has put experiences before me, I realized, you know what? They're living and walking in their purpose, and so am I. There was a time when Eugene and I went to a bank, and the bank person said, what do you do for a living? And I said, well, I'm just a housewife. Eugene immediately said, you're not just a housewife. And I realized then that he had more confidence in me than I did. And I realized, you know what? You can't see yourself this way. You have a voice. God's given you this voice. You need to use it. So the verse that I want to share with you today is Psalm 57:2. I cry out to God Most High, to God who will fulfill his purpose for me. And there are 3 things that you can see in this verse. David clings to this truth. It is absolute. God has a purpose for me, this Sister Teri, and he will fulfill it.
Amen.
So in my inability to do things, he will shine his ability through me.
Yes.
So, with that being said, you see Billy Graham, you see Martin Luther King, you see Mother Teresa, you see John Piper, and you see Elizabeth Elliot. And this is for me. Now, Brian is probably saying, Teri, these are the most influential Christian people, right? Some have passed on, some are still living and pursuing what God's purpose is for their life. But you know what? All of us, we all fall short of the glory of God. It is by God's grace and his love for us, by his son, Jesus Christ, that we can live and walk in our purpose. And so now, even though I have gone through, and I still struggle with this, you know, am I climbing the corporate ladder? No, right? But does that mean that when I see God and he has an accounting of my life, he's not going to ask me how many Twitter followers I have. He's not going to ask me how many Facebook friends I have. He's going to ask me, did you love your neighbor, right? Did you share the gospel? Did you love my people?
Yes.
Did you clothe them when they were naked,
Yes.
right? Did you feed them when they were hungry? Those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. Are we looking at ourselves through the earthly lens, or are we looking at ourselves through godly lenses? Because when we look at ourselves, we all fall short. But it's by God's grace and God's love and his presence in our life that gives us the confidence to press forward. And it is his promises that he who began a good work in us will complete it. He will. And so this is my confidence. I am not perfect, and I am not influential to the world as our brothers and sisters may be. But in my little circle, I am going to use my voice and do what I can.
Amen.
So my question for you is this. Where are you? Are you going through this struggle of finding yourself and your identity? Are you confused, lost, scared, I challenge you and I encourage you, pray more, read more, worship more, praise more. Pastor Mike shared a few weeks ago that our life is a living testimony. And what you do with it, people are watching. You don't have to be as famous as those influential Christian brothers and sisters. People are watching. And God is watching every step. So, with this being said, I believe all of you should walk in His purpose. And you need to have the confidence of knowing that He who began a good work in you will complete it. But do you have faith in the living God? That He who started that will complete it? I do. He will fulfill His purpose in you, but you need to walk in His ways. So, I end with two things. You cannot fulfill God's purpose for your life while focusing on your own plans, and that's by Rick Warren. And I believe that. When you focus on yourself, your inabilities will shine. But when you focus on God, His purpose will truly shine. And just 3 verses to consider as you go on this journey. I cry out to God Most High, to God who will fulfill His purpose for me. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last, and so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you.
Amen.
And finally, for you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. So sisters and brothers, happy Mother's Day, and I pray that you will walk in your purpose.
Amen.